Good afternoon. Today is the 12th of May, although you're probably going to see this a little bit later than that, and it's time for another very vague vlog. It's very vague, it's very rambling, and you know, that's just the way that these things go. But today we're in the Seat. It needs a run, and I have had a request from my mother to go and pick her up some stuff from the shops and take them to her, so I will be going the same route pretty much as last time, but we'll stop a little bit short. She is over 70 and in self-isolation, so she's not going to be able to actually pick up what she needs all the time. Been on lockdown now, for her anyway, for almost 2 months. She's getting a bit fed up of it, to be honest, but then again, I think a lot of people feel that way. So yes, we're on the way. I do apologise for the camera angle. That's the way that it's sort of gone. So we're on the way to the Sainsbury's just to the south of Winchester from Eastleigh, where she'll be getting some provisions. A couple of things that have cropped up in the last couple of days that we'll be discussing are the fact that people are looking at buying new cars, but they're wondering whether it's a good time to negotiate a deal before most of the dealerships open, which will be probably 1st of June, if they can comply with the current social distancing measures. Or should they just, you know, hold on a little bit longer and then do the deal then? Obviously the new car sales have been very, very low over the last couple of months, and there was a vlog that I released the other day talking more about this. It's funny to see how much the phone is actually shaking in the mount, but I think because of the auto stabilisation, I'm not sure you will see too much of that. I don't know. We'll have to see actually how it turns out. I've moved the camera slightly here, and I'll probably reposition it so you can see more of the road just when we get to stop at these lights here. There we go, it's probably slightly better. There's not much I can do about the mount itself being in the picture. That's just the way that it goes with the type of mount that I've got. That's the best way for me to mount it, so it doesn't get too much in the way of me seeing, and also the phone doesn't fall out of the mount. So is it a good idea to actually do a deal now? Well, we're looking at this ourselves. The reason for that is that this particular car is actually coming to the end of its finance contract. We got this on the 14th of July 2017 on a 37-month contract. Why it was a 37-month one and not a 36-month one, I don't really know. Our decision now, having consulted things quite carefully, is that we're going to pay the finance off. My mother, as she did with the Mitsubishi Shogun that I owned temporarily at the beginning of this year, she will lend us a bit of money and we will pay the finance off, so it's all squared off by the time that you know, we actually come to sell this car and put it on the market. It's a lot easier actually to accelerate up there than it is in the Rover. You don't have to push the car so hard. We've got a 1.litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine in this car, but develops 110 horsepower. It's the same power as the Rover, but it's a lot smoother power delivery. It's a lot easier to access to power. You don't need to push the car so hard to get there. Some people don't like these little engines. They don't, you know, they're not massive fans of them. I've heard that there are some issues with the wet timing belts, and so speak, in these engines, because it actually runs inside the engine and not underneath like an external timing cover like a lot of timing belts do. But you know, so for this one's been pretty good. That is, however, one of the reasons why we will not be keeping the car, because the warranty will expire in July, and we don't want to have any unexpected builds in that way. So I've had the car valued by 3 separate dealerships. They all came back with identical value for it. So we'll be selling it privately, or I might be offering it to a local dealer who actually bought the MG3 off us. It's only done, how long is it? What is it? It's done 28,000 miles so far. I've got a full service history. It's due a service and MOT next month. I've already booked that in. Be done at our local independent garage in Eastleigh, which, you know, is very good. So we are looking at a type of car at the moment that isn't going to be very interesting for a lot of you, but I don't really care too much whether, you know, you think it's interesting or not. It's something that we use primarily for, you know, other work purposes, or my wife goes to shops and things, or sometimes I use the car for long distance travel. It's very important that it's quite economical, it's got the equipment that I need, but it's comfortable. And the Rover's a great car, but it's not that comfortable on longer journeys. It's a bit noisy. The suspension's quite a little bit old. I mean, the car wasn't very expensive, it's 29 years old, you know, these things are expected. Also, the insurance, if you don't have it on classic policy, is very high on the Rover. So that's another kind of thing as well to take into consideration. And so we are going to get a new replacement car that will be a brand new one. And it might not be very exciting, but that's just the way that it is. And a lot of people say the Toledo is not particularly exciting, but that's really, you know, up to personal preference and things like that. It's not necessarily, you know, what I feel. I feel the car's perfectly good. It's quite nice to drive. It's not the most exciting car that I've driven, but I don't need it to be. I just need it to be economical, spacious, and good on fuel, and have the equipment that I need. And looking at the car we might possibly be getting, and we can't go and test drive one until the dealerships reopen, I don't think. Those would fulfill all these requirements. Of course, we don't know yet, and we will be keeping this one probably at least another month or so, but then it will be going up for sale. Oh, it's return of the same theme tune again. Don't know who's calling me, but I'm not going to answer the phone. I neglected to actually connect it up to the Bluetooth kit in the car because I'm recording this video. So it's about 4:25 at the moment. The traffic, although it looks heavy in comparison to what I've seen over the last few weeks, it's not really heavy in comparison to what it was before the lockdown happened. So there we are, nice and smooth, not a problem. So I think I've covered the things that I was going to say. I mean, there are some good deals out there. There definitely are, and you know, the ones that we've been looking at to replace this car are pretty competitive. Whether or not those will stay once the dealerships reopen, I don't really know. I know there's going to be a bit of a wait time on certain cars, whether you're looking at leasing or a PCP or just a cash sale, and that's just something to take into consideration. Although at the moment we certainly don't need all the cars we have. We don't need all 3 of them. It's totally unnecessary for us to have them. But the Astra and the Rover are both officially now on sale. They are on different market, different sites. One is on an owner's forum, which also gives you Facebook Marketplace for free, so I can give you a link to that. One is on Auto Trader. I might put the Rover up on Car and Classic as well, I don't know. What we'll do with this one, I think we'll just use Auto Trader as what I normally do. There's really nothing wrong with this car. It will be fully serviced with a new MOT on it, and I'm sure it'll be a very good buy for someone. I think this car is absolutely brilliant. I've got so many reviews and things on this one. But obviously you can't see it very much. All you can see is this sort of view of some of the bonnet, which just slopes away quite a lot, so not a lot to see. That's why I was very glad when I ordered this car, but it came with front parking sensors. And when we used to live near London, and sometimes I used to park in London, that was very handy indeed. I'm not the best person at parking in the world. So here we're at the supermarket. We'll go and find a space. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm afraid these very vague vlogs are just very vague, and they're a bit rubbish, and they're just the way that they are. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below. Don't forget to visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, and also my Instagram page, which is instagram.com/Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting. And thank you ever so much indeed for watching once again. I'll just reverse into a parking space, because that's what I always do, and people get really annoyed with me doing it, but I do it anyway. So there we go. Let's reverse in here. Don't have the optional camera in this car, but it's only got sensors, but to be honest, I don't need a camera to park a car. And there we are.